When was the last time an ambulance showed up to your school? In my freshman year, our entire school had a problem with a gang going around. These wannabe thugs would terrorize every student in the halls and bully people constantly, but the only reason they even showed up is because the law said they had to. If the police caught them skipping class, they'd get arrested and thrown in juvie. Everyone at our school hated them, but nobody could do anything about it, because if you messed with one of them, you messed with all of them. One day, one of the lowlifes in the gang got in trouble for throwing a pencil at a teacher, and his punishment was being forced to join the school play for the rest of the year. This was instantly proven to be a bad idea, because on his very first day of rehearsal, he immediately started bullying this kid named Brian. Brian was half this kid's size, but when the lowlife shoved him in front of everyone, something snapped in him. Brian shoved the lowlife right back, and just like that, they squared up. Everyone instantly chanted, "Fight, fight!" Brian started throwing punches, but even though he was half this kid's size, his second punch connected perfectly with the lowlife's jaw, knocking him to the ground. He didn't get back up. Everyone in that room just stood there with their mouths open. Nobody knew what to say, but amazingly, none of the teachers reacted. Normally, he'd be sent to the office in a heartbeat, but they all just pretended like nothing happened at all. The lowlife was left embarrassed, so this meant the rest of the gang was gonna come for him now. The very next day, the rest of the gang started harassing him. They called him Chopped and made fun of him for being in the school play, until the second toughest guy in the gang walked right up to Brian in the cafeteria during lunch, and the whole room got quiet. Everyone was watching. Brian tried to walk away, but lowlife number 2 wasn't letting that happen. He slapped Brian right in front of everyone, and when he turned around, it was on. Brian squared up again, and before anyone could even react, Brian punched him in the face. The guy hit the floor, and the entire cafeteria went crazy cheering for him. Brian had now dropped 2 of the baddest guys in our school, and he just stood there calm as ever. The security ran over to stop it, but there was nothing to stop. However, everyone knew who was gonna come for him now. There was only one person left, the gang's leader, Jack. Everyone was absolutely terrified of this guy because he was covered in tattoos and had an entire beard before he was a senior. And the next day, we all heard Jack yell for Brian in the hallway. Everyone knew what was about to go down. Jack was 3 times the size of Brian, and it was like looking at a real-life David versus Goliath. Even the teachers stood waiting to watch, and when Brian dropped his books, it was on. Jack came at him hard, hitting Brian a few times, and it knocked him over onto the school tile. Brian laid down as everyone was chanting, but just as Jack walked up to him to finish him off, Brian turned around and swung hard. We all watched in slow motion. Just as Jack leaned in to knock him out, Brian turned and threw the cleanest uppercut I have ever seen in my life. It connected to Jack's jaw perfectly. The sound it made echoed through the hallway. Jack's head snapped back, and he fell backwards and hit the ground hard. Brian had completely knocked him out cold, and the teachers ran to get the nurse. Nobody could move, and as soon as it set in that this 100-pound kid from the school play had single-handedly taken down the entire gang, we all cheered. It was beautiful.